You better keep that camera on. Hello, hello.
Miss Huff, did you get my final copy for my essay?
Green? I haven't opened it yet.
Yeah, I finished it. The day that you assigned us to it, I finished it.
Oh, awesome.
And I put.
I have it. Is that both of your sisters?
Yeah.
How are they doing?
They're good.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah,
Miss Huff, can you send me the thing, the link to the yearbook thing?
to the what?
The yearbook thing?
Oh yeah, I will be sending that.
Okay.
I have to make sure that they're going to help with this, doing it online. I'm just
Okay.
answer, but you'll get it this week.
Okay. Oh, Miss Huff, are you guys gonna send the morning's yearbooks in the mail?
No, Mr. Woolsey has to open the school, and when he does, once I have the date that he's going to open the school, then you guys can come and get it.
10:32. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
10:30. Alrighty. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're all here. Hope you had a great and wonderful weekend. I am going to do attendance real quick. Please complete your assignments and get them posted. Your peer reviews, your final copies of your essays, which are due today, and any other assignments that are current. You started this quarter with a 4, let's keep it a 4, okay? So turn your assignments in. Make sure you are turning in all of your assignments. You're working on your assignments, making sure that they are all complete and turned in. We all started this quarter with a 4. Let's keep it a 4. Turn in your assignments now. It's a Google Doc that was shared with you. There's a copy there for you. All you have to do is open it. It's in Google Classroom. Gabriel? Gabriel? Gabrielle? All right, let's get started with today. We have a lot to get through. I'm going to share my screen. I need for you to have your notebook and a composition book. Notebook and a composition book so that you can take notes and then do your activity for your vocabulary and reflection. A notebook is separate from your composition book. Do not write anything in your composition book that I do not give to you. Your notes go in your notebook. Notes go in your notebook. Here we go. You should have your essays submitted, resubmitted, and your peer reviews completed today. Your final copy turned in. Oh, it's not working. All right, so in your notebook, please write the title, Omnivore's Dilemma, author's purpose. You're going to take some notes. We're going to go through this fairly quickly, I hope, but you need to take notes for your quiz on Friday. It will be from these videos. Author's purpose. Okay, you're going to need to write some of this down. Write it in shorthand if you want, but you need to have the answers. Eating is more than just putting food into our mouths. Eating is an agricultural act, an ecological act, and a political act. Okay, this is important because it tells you why we're eating and that it's more than just food in our mouths. Write this down. This is in your notes. There's no pages to your notes, not in your composition book. Do not write this in your composition book. This does not go in your composition books. So Michael Pollan focuses on 3 different food chains. 3 different food chains. Oh, do you need me to go back? I can go back to the other one. Okay. Hang on. All right. There you go. Eating is more than just putting food in our mouths. All right. So this is the second one. Pollen focuses on 3 food chains. 3 food chains. The industrial food chain, the organic food chain, the hunter-gatherer food chain. Okay? So those are the 3 areas that he discusses. These are all food chains. Industrial food chain, organic food chain, the hunter-gatherer food chain. And if you notice, it says investigates. It's not his opinion. He actually did the work to find out facts about all 3. All right, next. These are things that he did as part of his investigation. He actually performed the things. He actually went out and hunted. He went to McDonald's and ate a fast food meal. Those are things he did to help with his investigation. In section 1, talking about corn, he states, "We are walking corn." This is an example of part of his nonfiction literature. So, answering the 3 questions, this is his purpose is to tell us about corn and his point of view that we are all walking corn. This is another example of the story being nonfiction. He uses numbers to represent the corn in the supermarket. 1/4 of the 45,000 items in a supermarket is what makes up corn. Eggs, chickens, cornstarch, corn oil, corn syrup, candy, ice cream, prepared foods, cereal, chewing gum, mayonnaise, and many more. If you just write this first sentence, that's a fact that Pollan found out for his nonfiction story. Corn makes up more than 1/4 of the 45,000 items in a supermarket. All right, next. Raise your hand if I'm going too fast or put it in the chat. Let me know. This is another very important fact that makes this nonfiction. Corn is fed to cows who are designed to eat grass. Their bodies were not made to eat corn. The corn is cheap, grass is not. Corn is easy to grow, grass is not. The corn is subsidized by the Department of Agriculture through our taxes. Cows get sick from this corn diet, and because they get sick, then the farmers have to put antibiotics into them. So not only are we eating lots of corn through the cows, we are eating antibiotics, which is bad for us. But this is a fact about our food. Write this down. You can shorthand it if you want to, but write it down. Everybody with their cameras off needs to have their cameras on. There's no reason your cameras should be off. Turn your cameras on. Okay, one of the reasons that farmers don't do organic food anymore is because it's a lot more expensive. But being able to do things organically is very expensive. Raising corn is a lot cheaper for farmers. Corn is cheap, organic foods are not. So these are just things that Colin did to try to connect with nature and with the earth. So here they say what the purpose of the book is. It's about the pleasures of eating, the kinds of pleasures that are only deepened by knowing. So answer the 3 questions based on what you saw here. This will be uploaded to Google Classroom. The next video, you need to take notes as well. Answer this question: how do you identify the author's purpose? And take notes. I will stop the video for the things that you need to write down. The title, the author's purpose. The author's purpose. This is going beyond the main idea and just simple details.
Ever had this feeling you've just finished reading something, you understood everything, but it's like something is missing? Well, maybe something is missing unless you detected the author's purpose, point of view, and tone. They're just beneath the surface, but if you pay attention, they're there. So stick around and let's take a look at the author's purpose first. Hi, welcome to Snap Language. Mark Franco here. This is one in a series of videos where we'll look at elements in the text we need to identify and interpret the author's purpose, point of view, and tone. Make sure you subscribe to Snap Language so you won't miss any of our videos. These elements of writing affect what the writer actually says and how the writer says it. Affect what the writer actually says and how the writer says it.
Okay, this is important. You need to know these 3 techniques for writing so that way you can identify the purpose, the point of view, and the tone when you are asked after reading something. The purpose for these 3 actions is so that you know what the writer actually says and how the writer actually says it. Okay? This is important for understanding author's purpose, point of view, and tone. All right, moving on.
As the reader, detecting these elements helps you go deeper, beyond simply understanding main ideas and supporting details. First, let's talk about the author's purpose. We don't write just because we can. Writing has a purpose. For example, if you write an email to Mary, a close friend you haven't seen in a long time, your purpose probably is to inform her about what's been going on in your life. When your purpose is to inform, your goal is to teach, explain, clarify, share information, elaborate.
Okay, so number one, author's purpose is to inform. And when you inform, it's to teach, explain, clarify, share information, elaborate on a topic. That's what informing does. What is it? What does it do? Inform is to teach, explain, clarify, share information, elaborate on a topic. Okay.
On a topic. Now, your friend Mary receives that information. She's the reader now. She realizes that you're sharing all this information, so Mary's goal is to learn it. You often read informative passages in textbooks, newspapers, journal articles, and so on. When you detect a passage is informative, your main goal as the reader is to learn the information. For that, you need to pay attention to any definitions, explanations, illustrations, examples, and so on. Now,
so the reader's goal is to learn the information. The reader's goal, that's you guys and me, is to learn the information when someone's trying to inform us. So the reader's goal is to learn the information.
Now, let's say in your message, you tell Mary you just got a new job selling vitamins. You tell Mary how important it is to supplement your diet with vitamins. You tell her these vitamins are the best on the market. Sneaky. You want to persuade Mary to do something. Now your purpose is to persuade. You use information not simply to inform, but to convince people to change their opinion, to change their point of view, or to change their behavior.
Okay, number two. Author's purpose is to persuade. Use the information that you have to convince people to change their opinion, change their point of view, change their behavior. This is the purpose of persuading someone in writing. So when you think about that and you look at it, what is Michael Pollan's purpose as he writes this story about food and corn? What's his purpose? What is he trying to do? Is he trying to inform us? Yes. He wants us to learn something. Is he trying to persuade us? Possibly. He wants us to change our opinions and our point of view about food in the supermarket. So we have to think about why he's actually writing this, and his reasoning is that he wants to persuade us and he wants to inform us.
When writers write to persuade, they use the information to create a logical argument.
And this is something that he is doing, is creating a logical argument for why people should look at their diets, look at the foods that they eat. And I would say that he really has a good point about all the food from the supermarket being filled with corn. Can the writer create a logical argument? That's really important.
They want you to reach their conclusion by the time you finish reading. As the reader, when you detect persuasion, your job is to determine and evaluate the argument.
Okay, so you, as the reader, need to decide or determine what the argument is. What is Michael Pollan arguing here? And evaluate the argument. What is he saying that makes sense as an argument? Is he arguing for the corn in our food, or is he arguing against the corn in our food? Is he arguing about our diets that we have, or is he arguing that we need to take a good look at our diets and maybe make some changes? So as the reader, we need to decide, why is he creating this argument?
Before you allow someone to change your belief, you want to make sure that they have a solid argument.
Okay, this is why we're reading the book. We want to see if he has a solid argument against the corn in our food. Does he make a solid argument against the corn in our food and everywhere else?
You don't want to be convinced of something that's based on misinformation or bad logic. You'll find persuasive passages in newspaper editorials, political speeches, advertisements, passages about controversial topics, and so forth. Hey, so you can write to inform, persuade, and entertain. This is The Namesake, a novel about a couple that immigrated to the United States. They had children here, went through cultural shock. The writer wrote this to entertain. When writers write to entertain, their goal is to tell a story or tell a joke. They present information, but their main goal is not necessarily to teach or to try to persuade you of anything.
Okay. So number 3, the writer's purpose is to entertain, which is to tell a story or to tell a joke. And their main goal is not to teach or to persuade. It's just to have fun. So sometimes we want to read just to have fun, just to enjoy something.
It's just something for you to appreciate, like reading poems too. When you detect the purpose is to entertain, you need to pay attention to literary devices such as the characters, the plot, the use of figurative language, what the message is, or...
This is important for entertainment. The purpose of entertainment is to provide these 4 literary devices. We need to know who the characters are. We need to know what the plot is. We need to know what the figurative language is. And like Summer of Mariposa, it had lots of different types of figurative language. We need to know what the message or the moral of the story is. In order to really enjoy something, you need to know what that message is that the author is trying to tell you, or what the moral of the story is. So these are all important for when an author is trying to entertain us in our reading.
Or the moral of the story, and so on. Sometimes when you read a novel or a poem, you may learn something about the world. The author may even have a message on a controversial topic. But the main purpose is not really to inform or persuade. The primary purpose is still to entertain.
Oops. Primary purpose of a novel is to entertain. The primary purpose of a novel is to entertain.
There's a 4th purpose that people don't often talk about because it can be lumped together with one of the others. Writers sometimes write simply to share insights or feelings on a topic. The writer's goal is to share their thoughts. They have ideas about something and they want to share them with the world.
Okay, so this is number 4, but like he said, most writers lump it all together with the one or more of the other 3. So share insights or feelings, share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your feelings about a certain topic. All righty.
You see that in blogs very frequently. It's an intellectual exercise without trying to teach or persuade you. You could then argue that this purpose is to entertain, which is fine, but you may hear about it, so just saying, and just letting you know. I want you to know about it.
All right. So how do you identify the author's purpose? There's 3 main ways. The 4th one is usually lumped with the other 3, but you need to look for those context clues that help you to identify what purpose is the author using within their story. Next, this one's really short. Again, you have 3 questions. And the first one is about you. What is in your diet? Do you eat a lot of homemade foods where mom or grandma or somebody cooks and cooks from real food? Or do they cook from boxed food or canned goods? Are there real carrots in your diet? Apples, oranges, things that are naturally grown? Or is it boxed pasta and boxed whatever comes in a box, cereal? Have you ever thought to look at what the ingredients are? What are the food items that are most important to you? Soda? Have you thought of what's in that soda? Have you ever taken and looked at the can to see what the ingredients are? It's interesting. What do you think of Michael Pollan's point of view about food? We know his purpose is to inform and persuade. What's his point of view? How does he see things regarding food? Let's take a listen.
There are 2 kinds of processed food. There's first order processed food, which are things like canned tomatoes or milled flour. And in general, they're boons to mankind and our convenience. Then there's another kind of processed food that I call ultra processed or hyper processed food. These are foods that tend to be cooked with many ingredients that no human keeps in their pantry. Things like polysorbate 80 or xanthan gum. They're very high in calories and they have very little fiber and very little antioxidants. In terms of the mental effects of this food, in the short term, they're very positive. They make us feel really good. They've been engineered to be attractive by very clever food scientists. In the long term, though, since they're so high, often in refined carbohydrates, the good mood they create crashes pretty quickly, and you are left feeling kind of bad. The most important thing about your diet in terms of your health and your mental well-being is who's cooking it. Has it been cooked by a human being or has it been processed by a corporation? And if it's the latter, the chances are you're struggling with things like chronic disease and type 2 diabetes. So the thing to pay attention to in your diet is the degree to which it has been processed. And you can tell that by looking at the ingredient label. Are there more than 5 ingredients? Is it full of chemicals you don't keep in your pantry? Then it's hyper processed food and you're best staying away from it.
So in the chat, real quick, What is his point of view of supermarket food? What is his point of view? Is he for it or is he against it? What is Michael Pollan's point of view of processed food? Put it in the chat, please. Good, Sine. Good, Jasmine. Come on, everybody participate. Nice, Miguel. Right, Esteban. He prefers homemade food. Come on, I know there's more of you out there. Good, Alexandra. Question is, what is Michael Pollan's point of view? Is he for processed food or against processed food? That's food from boxes and things. Good, Bianca, I agree. Nice, Jocelyn. Good, Edward. Good, Evelyn. Nice job, guys. My opinion is that Michael's opinion is he's against high processed foods. All right. Last video for today, author's point of view. Here's your question. How do you identify the author's point of view? We just talked a little bit about Michael Pollan's and how he views food as far as we're cooking it. Let's see what this gives us.
In the previous video, we saw that knowing the author's purpose for writing helps you understand better what you read because you know what you need to pay attention to in the text. But writers also bring their own viewpoints into their writing. Does detecting the writer's point of view help you interpret what you read? Stick around and let's see how understanding the writer's point of view can help you improve your reading comprehension. Hi, welcome back to Snap Language. I'm Mark Franco. This is one in a series of videos that talk about detecting and interpreting elements in writing that help you improve your reading comprehension. So make sure you subscribe to Snap Language so you don't miss any of our videos. The writer's point of view affects what the writer says about the topic and how the writer says it. As you know, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Your point of view is the direction you come from or the perspective you have when you approach a topic.
Point of view. How you come to the perspective that you have when you approach a topic. Write that down, please.
Look at a house and say, wow.
Sorry.
Say, it's how you say it. Your point of view is the direction you come from or the perspective.
The perspective you have when you approach, and he spelled approach wrong, a topic. So this is a point of view, the direction you come from or the perspective you have when you approach the topic. So we know that Michael Pollan's point of view is that eating healthy, whole foods, organic foods is better than eating processed foods.
You have when you approach a topic. For a person will look at a house and say, wow, what a great house. A rich man will probably say, what a quaint little shack. So is the house a mansion or is it just a shack? Well, neither. It's the same house, but a poor person sees it from a poor person's viewpoint. A rich person sees it from a different viewpoint. It's just a different perspective, but it can make an important difference. Our point of view colors our perception of the world.
That's important. Our point of view colors our perception of the world. There's a lot of things going on right now in our world, including voting and why people are voting, and everybody's coming from a different perspective, how they see the world. So point of view is extremely important, and understanding it is even more important. So our point of view colors our perception of the world, how we see things.
Whether we notice it or not, our points of view affect how we think and in what we believe.
Another important point. Our points of view affect how we think and in what we believe. So where food is concerned, some people may not care that their cow meat is filled with corn products and antibiotics, where somebody else might care, so they may purposefully go and search for organic beef, beef that has not been processed with a lot of corn. So points of view affect how we think and what we believe.
So understanding a writer's point of view helps you understand how that person thinks.
Again, when you're reading text, you need to understand, where is this writer coming from? Why is the writer thinking this way? What is their point of view? What is that writer's point of view? How is that person thinking?
You're able to read the author's ideas or opinions and say, I understand where you're coming from, but what if someone has a different viewpoint? Do writers give you the whole information, or do they give you only the picture they can see because of their own point of view? For example, take a topic such as capital punishment. Some people are in favor, others are against capital punishment. As you read a passage about it, depending on the information the author gives you or focuses on, you can pretty much tell what the author's point of view is. So let's look at this. Someone in favor of capital punishment may call it capital punishment. Someone against it might call it the death sentence. The first will focus on how fair it is to dole out rigorous justice to a terrible criminal. The other will focus on how a wrongful conviction might send innocent people to their deaths. So you can use context clues to identify the author's point of view. Once you do, you can understand better why the author may be focusing on some things and leaving other things out. The author may have a bias because of his or her viewpoints.
This is important. Write it down. And what is bias? Bias means that you may think a certain way about something, and no matter what anyone else says, they can give you facts, they can give you papers that say you're wrong, but because of your bias, you do not change your mind. That's exactly what's happening with our voting right now. Some people are absolutely for early ballots, and other people are like, absolutely not. You are supposed to vote in person no matter what or who says otherwise. So, based on their bias and their beliefs, Their point of view is that you vote in person, while other people will say it's okay to vote by mail. Okay? It just depends on their point of view. But bias means that they do not change their minds no matter what anyone says, no matter how much they try to convince them. They are biased against those other opinions.
So the author will focus on the things he or she believes to be true. It's important to know where the author's on the things he or she believes to.
Okay, this is what he's talking about. This is what bias is. They focus only on what they think is true, and they don't care what anybody else says. That is bias. Okay?
To be true. It's important to know where the author is coming from or the writer's point of view. It helps you interpret the information carefully. It helps you question what the author may or may not be telling you. And this works in all kinds of situations. In 2014, a white police officer in Ferguson, Missouri, fatally shot Mike Brown, an African-American man. People took to the streets in protest. In the media, some reporters focused on the events as protests, but others focused on the events as violent riots. Some articles may have referred to the protesters as peaceful, but others referred to them as angry mobs. In this article, you can see how Diane Jeanty, a reporter writing for the Huffington Post, discusses Ted Nugent's point of view while expressing her own point of view. The link to this article and other materials are in the descriptions below the video. The events are the same, so why are they reported so differently? Well, it depends on the point of view of the person talking about them. If I feel positively about something, I'll talk about it from a positive angle, and the other way around. My tone will change depending on my point of view and how I feel about it. But wait, the tone is the topic for the next video. So for now, give this one a thumbs up if you'd like, and thanks for stopping by and watching this video.
Okay. So point of view is really important. And if you watch the news right now, you're going to see many different kinds of point of view. And Michael Pollan has his own point of view where food is concerned. So being able to identify the author's point of view is extremely important, guys. We're gonna do this video tomorrow. What I need for you to do is go into your Google Classroom. You're gonna find week of October 26th to 30. There's only one assignment. There's only one assignment so far, and that assignment is to complete your vocabulary. You're supposed to do a reflection, but I'm gonna save that for tomorrow. On page 111 in your composition books, remember these are your composition books. Make sure you number the pages and go to 111. You're going to complete the vocabulary words. Don't worry about the reflection questions. We'll do that tomorrow. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vocabulary words. Write those in your composition book. Please, please, please set up your composition book so that there are columns. It needs to look like this. I did the hard part for you. I did the name, the word, the parts of speech, the definitions. All you need to do is a picture and a sentence, okay? A picture and a sentence. Write this in your book. You have 3 columns and 5, 6 words. That's it for tonight. Are there any questions? Put this in your composition books on page 111. No questions? Oh, nice. Okay, hold on, Luis. If you just received your composition book, here's what you need to do. In your Google Classroom, under last week, week of 19 to 23, I put in there your how to set it up. Let's see if it's this one. Nope, not that one. Here's your, nope, that's not it. Oh, it's here in your daily agenda. Take and open this up and it will tell you how to do your slide, your composition book. At least it should, I think. On this last slide for Monday, it shows you how to set it up. But if you have it and you haven't set it up, let me just put the information here. You want to make sure that you do the table of contents. Okay. Your table of contents is right by the opening. Put your table of contents, and at the bottom of your table of contents, you're gonna have your table of contents, page number on the right side. This is where your page numbers are gonna go and your titles. At the bottom, put Roman numeral 1, okay? Roman numeral 1. When you turn this over, on the back of it, put your table of contents, page number, Roman numeral 2. Then at the bottom of all the subsequent pages, you're going to put 1. And on the back, you're going to put 2. Make sure you count all the way up to the end of the book. And when you get to 111, oops. 111, that's where you're going to put your vocabulary, okay? That's where your vocabulary goes. When you get to 142, you should have your first reflection. Oops, I'm sorry. One other thing, your reflection title goes on page 125. 125. Okay. Hold on. And then your reflections start on 142 and 143. Okay. Right now, just make sure that you number all your pages and you put your vocabulary in there on 111. Okay? We're done. Hope you have a good day and upload your vocabulary pictures. See you later. See you later. Bye, guys.